My name is Jansen, and I'm a dad, and so are these guys, and so are some of you. And being a dad comes with a lot of fun, ups and downs, twists and turns, you name it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today a little bit. Got a good group of guys here that have kids within very unique age ranges. Age ranges that you can get. Appreciate it. And we're going to talk about that today. When I first became a dad, I didn't know what I didn't know. And there are a lot of times where we need to give ourselves grace, and we don't even realize it. JR and I do this thing every single night where we talk about our favorite part of the day and our least favorite part of the day. And it's really cute because JR he's 4. He should know this by now, right? He doesn't really understand what least favorite part means, and in his defense, it's okay because you've got your favorite part and your least favorite part. He just says a good part of his day and then like the second good part of his day. And then I have to ask, did you have a bad part of your day today? And 9 times out of 10, it's like something about snacks or whatever. There's one day that I remember very vividly where we were just like getting into it. Sometimes, some of you know my son, he gets it honestly, that's for sure. He was very stubborn that day, and I lost my cool with him. For the first time, I think I yelled at him. And it messed me up. I apologized to him, and he was fine, and it kind of ruined my day. So, we do our bedtime routine where I go up, Danny goes up, I go up again, Danny goes up again, I go up for the last time, maybe, and we start talking about our favorite part. And I go, JR, what's your favorite part of the day? Just like bracing for the least favorite part. He's like, oh yeah, I had a great time when Jet and I went to the park, and I had a lot of fun. It's like, all right, cool, bud. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I just yelled at my son, JR, what was your least favorite part of the day? He goes, I really wanted a second snack, but I didn't get one. Like, oh my gosh, I do not give myself enough grace, and our kids give us so much grace, and they forgive so quickly. As dads, there is, I feel, an internal struggle that I think about constantly. And it's this tension between, I want to go and conquer the world. I want to provide for my family. I want to go to war, right? I want to just get out and get after it. Also, on the other side, there's this feeling and this deep desire to just be at home and be present with my wife and my kids. And those two things are at odds with one another 100% of the time. So what's the answer here? What's the fix? No clue. But I think it starts with grace and practicing the Sabbath properly. Now, one of my buddies who's here has described the Sabbath in a very good way. He says that the perfect Sabbath is drinking wine, eating pizza, and having sex. That's the perfect Sabbath. Sorry, Tim, that's my father-in-law up here. Ooh. Oftentimes we have this conception of what Sabbath is, and it means to just rest and not do anything, but it's an active participation of rest. What do you do that brings you joy? What do you do that's saying, I forget who said it, but there is a work stoppage. You stop work. It is intentional rebellion against getting after it, going out and conquering the world, right? That's what Sabbath is. In Matthew 11, verse 28, says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And we stop often at my yoke is easy, my burden's light. You can put that yoke on, right? But you still gotta plow. Like the tool still needs to be used. So how do we find this balance? Dads, how do we find this balance? That's what we're gonna be tackling today. Tim, okay, also another side note, confusing part. We got Tim, Ty. I don't know why I did that. Tim, Ty, it's gonna be difficult for everyone, especially me, so just pray for me, I need it. Tim, number one, young Tim.
Ouch. Not that much younger.
Young Tim, who are you?
My name is Tim number one. Tim Buckles is my last name, but father of three. My wife Jen and I, 20 years ago, had our first kid, Chase, and who's just finished up his sophomore year of college. And then we've got a daughter named Brea, who they're actually watching online right now. So promise I won't try to embarrass you too much, but Brea is going to be a senior this year in high school, so our second senior will push through, and then Zuri is our youngest, and she's a junior. So that's kind of, our family of five, and
great.
It's a great place to be. They can take care of themselves right now. And
it's the easy part.
Yeah, it's the easy part of life.
You don't have to do anything. You just let them go and do whatever.
So, that's where we're at right now. So.
Great. That's great. Tim, other Tim, gosh dang it.
Hi, my name is Tim Alley, and I am old Tim up here. I grew up in Michigan City, Indiana, also known as the region, go Hammond Bears. I went to Ball State University. I met my wife in 1989, and this September we will celebrate 36 years of marriage. That's Grandma Juju right there. I have 3 girls, 2 biological daughters and 1 bonus daughter. Danny is Jansen's wife, and Lindsay is in Indianapolis with her husband John, and their 3 kids, Roman, Avi, and Kala. And Tia lives in Osceola with her husband Adam, and they have Theo, Hallie, and Palmer. And of course, Danny and Jansen have JR and Jet and Jace. Tough. But anyway, my kids and my grandkids are probably my biggest blessings next to my wife and my relationship with God, obviously. So that's me.
Great. Thank you, Tim. Ty?
I am the only Ty, so I'm going to break the Tim trend here. My name's Ty Fullenkamp. My wife Courtney and I have 3 beautiful children, 2 girls, 1 boy, soon to be 7, 4, just turned 4, and 7 weeks. Okay, 7 weeks, I'm good.
Early. Nailed it.
I'll represent the younger part of the dadhood as long as I can.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm naming this tension, right? And I think after knowing some of y'all's stories, I know that that's also a little bit true for you all. So what is that tension between ambition and presence? Like, what does that actually feel like for you right now? Is there any particular moment that you can think of right now? And whoever it can go. I mean, this is gonna be like a podcast. So you guys are just like in on the conversation. You guys are free also to ask questions to one another. Please make my job easier. That would be great. Thank you.
I guess the old guy will go first. So that tension.
The life experience. You have more life experience.
Presence and ambition. For me right now, I err on the side of presence. We throw that word presence out there a lot, but none of us are really good about practicing it. There's just way too many distractions. And I think for men in general, our work really kind of defines us. I can think back when I was 14 years old, my grandfather grabbed me off the baseball field and said, "Son, you're gonna come help me pull wire." And from that point forward, it was all about work, and that just became my identity, forever. Especially after we had kids, then it just became, I've got to be that guy that provides. And, that was the way I lived my life. And, It kind of came about 10 years ago. I started realizing, I remember going to a church service one time where the pastor talked about God being your one, your wife being your two, your kids being your three, and work being your four. I have that little g God as work as my number one, because that's what every other father did. And I realize now that's work for me right now is number four. God's number one, Juju's number two, my kids, grandkids, friends, number three, and work is right where it should be. So for all you young guys out there, if you can figure that out now, you're going to be one step ahead of the game. It took me till 51 to figure it out. So anyway.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and then for me, I think, just to be honest, right now, the tension between those two are at an all-time high. Just in October, I moved into a different position where I manage a team of 7, soon to be 9, but I've been a father for 20 years, and I feel like I've done a really good job of being present up until October. Maybe not so much then, but it's just been I've noticed the struggle from that point on I've never had to manage people before. And so just trying to figure out, all right, you focus on that area at work, and then all of a sudden it feels like things are falling apart on that end. So then you turn your focus there, and then it feels like it's falling apart over here. And so that's just kind of, honestly, the season I'm in. So
yeah, it's like trying to keep all of those plates spinning at the same time is nearly impossible. Everyone needs you all the time, and that's no one's fault, right? But how do you kind of settle into a rhythm or a cadence where you can give yourself grace in those moments and realize that nothing is really on fire, right? Like nothing is truly on fire. It feels like it's on fire. It's not. That's a common tension to be in, Tim. You're not alone there. Ty, what about you?
Yeah, I think as dads, we go through stages of, where do you weight the gravity of tension and presence? And I think 5-ish, 6-ish years ago, I probably would have leaned more into ambitions of trying to get ahead with my career. Being alone just with Courtney in a larger city away from family, it was difficult. There was weight of, hey, I have to be the best that I can. I have to make the most money, give us the most freedom that we can so we can do things. But that takes away from your presence. So I'm learning to kind of balance the two. It's different each week, I think. But I'm in a stage now with 3 kids that I want to be as present as I can. I want to show up to every single event that they have. Just know that I was around the whole time for them.
Yeah, that's good. When I look at ambition versus presence in my life, it often comes out of the root of comparison, where I'm looking at people around me, not even people around me, people on like Instagram, right, who are running ultra successful businesses and they've got yachts. And I'm like, what do you need a yacht for? I don't know, but I want a yacht. And oftentimes my ambition is out of a competition of like, I want to go do that because they're doing it, which means I can do it. I'm gonna hey man, family, just one sec. I'm doing this for future us is a sentence that I use a lot. And as I process through that sentence, like what I'm doing now is for future us. We'll be happy in the future. That statement can be true, but we are never given the future. It is never promised. And it is my responsibility to be present and be where my feet are, another sentence that I use a lot, and be, whatever season it is, be with my family or go in at work. It's a tough tension to be in. So I feel like I've got lots of stories of things that I've had to sacrifice in order to adjust for whatever season I'm in. Have you guys had to let go of anything as far as fatherhood has brought you? What have you had to let go of in order to be a better dad? It's a tough question.
That is a tough question, but again, I think for most of us men, work becoming our identity. I remember, I think it was 22, 23 years ago, my old company that I worked for, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, they wanted you to keep moving up and keep moving and moving up. And I had kind of made a decision that I was done moving my family. I didn't want to go anywhere else and just wanted to be where I was. So that sacrifice, just giving up those career ambitions and, staying in South Bend, where we had made that our home for 10 years or so. That was important to me. So, just giving up that work pursuit, for money and power and positions, that was probably the one thing that stands out.
I've got a follow-up question for you.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that once you let go of your own ambitions for yourself, have you still been truly fulfilled by both the work you do and the life you live today?
Well, I think there was a season, probably 20 years ago that I kind of came to the end of myself, and once I started developing that relationship with God, where He was the center of my life, peace came with it, So, I encourage you guys, that share a story about one of those game-changing moments. About 22 years ago, I went to a men's retreat. And I didn't like men's retreats because I kind of felt inferior. I was surrounded by a bunch of super Christians, and I'm just this, rookie, that didn't know how to pray, didn't know how to act, didn't know the language. But each year I went back and I got a little bit more confident. And one year, our pastor challenged us to group up. You're doing life alone. There's strength in numbers. The enemy is going to isolate you guys, when you're doing life alone. So we started a men's group in 2004 that's still meeting today. There's some guys in this room that were a part of that and still are a part of it. And that was just a game changer for me, So I encourage you guys that are doing life alone, group up. If you want to join my group, see me after the service. I'm recruiting younger guys. So
this is a pitch to join Tim's small group. So we've got sign-ups on the website. It's fine. We don't.
I will say a younger version of myself probably would have answered this a little bit differently, but I decided to just put some of the things that I had for myself as far as goals and ambitions go on the back burner a bit, which I think I would have answered as a different way. But now knowing that I get my girls and now my boy closer to a set of grandparents, I'm super lucky and fortunate to do that. But it came with sacrificing, moving away from somewhere where I thought we'd be for a long time, if not forever. Sacrificing opportunity to do so, moving up to Napanee. There is not much. I'm in the minority of Napanee as far as my business goes, but I'm okay with that. I prayed over that. I talked to Courtney about it a lot, and I thought this was the right move that God was leading us on intentionally to get closer to family, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Follow-up question for you. What was that communication like between you and Courtney? How did those conversations go?
I was not ready. I was not ready to leave. She was ready to get out of there. Working part-time versus working full-time, having no help and not needing much other than just my work. It would have been very selfish of me to say, we're just gonna stay. We're gonna let that opportunity that I fully believe God put in front of me go. It would have been turning away from Him. So the conversations were hard. They were not super quick, but I surprised her when I came home and I said, I think that's the right move to make. We should do that.
That's cool.
Yeah, for me, we had kids very early on. I think I was 23 and Jen was 22 when we had Chase. So that kind of became the ambition. The goal is, raising kids. We each had our, different things that we did work-wise. So there really hasn't been much that I've given up from that mindset, but and I don't know if this is going to be too deep or what, but
Nothing's off limits, man.
in terms of when you talk about letting something go, you had mentioned you're Tim number 1, right? You're the old Tim, right? Sorry. As you mentioned, I grew up kind of the same way, the mentality that you are the provider of your family. You work, you go to work, you provide for your family. That's your goal. And one of the things that I think I've had to really learn to let go of, excuse me, is kind of the control I have there of that's my job and I have to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm the only one that has to do that.
Right.
The whole time I've got this partner, this helper, that's like, I'm right here, I can help too. Yeah. And, it's ashamedly, it's taken me a lot longer to realize that than I care to admit. But that's one of the things that, in a good way, I've had to learn and still learning to let go of that control. And it doesn't just have to be me putting in that work and effort. So.
Right. Yeah, there seems to be like a thread between all of your answers of, I had to sacrifice something that I thought was a sacrifice, but in reality, it was a blessing. These things may have been misprioritized already in my life. And this thing that I thought I was giving up was actually something that I was giving to God rather than he was taking it away from me, right? And I think about sacrifice in like the perspective of fatherhood as something that like, there's nothing I would rather do. Yes, it's hard. There are some things, giving up some things is hard, and sacrificing your time, your energy is hard, but it's also like the best thing ever. And when I look back in hindsight, because for some reason that I can never see it in the moment, when I look back in hindsight and say, wow, that was the best decision I ever could have made. And I would hope that you guys, when you look back at some of the sacrifices in air quotes, right, that you made, you're thinking, wow, that was the best decision I've ever made. And I think it comes along with letting go and not white knuckling your future or your legacy and getting your ego out of the way and saying like, listen, my job is to provide and that's what I want to do, but that doesn't mean I don't need help. That doesn't mean that I can't do it with my partner. That doesn't mean I can't do it with the people around me. Tim, we've got a saying in our small group as well. It's called no lone rangering. You can't be a lone ranger. You can't go out and do things on your own. If you're struggling, you need to say something. It is super important for guys and for girls as well to find a community who aren't very impressed with you. People who will call out the crap because they love you. That's my encouragement.
One of the gentlemen that initially started our small group with us kind of dropped out after about a year, and he was MIA. We didn't know where he was. And unfortunately, he committed suicide about 7 years ago. And when you talk about that, no lone ranger, that's big for me. I've tried to really stay close to a lot of the people in our group intentionally, because we don't know what people are really going through, especially as dads. So.
Yeah, there's this tendency as a man to not ask for help, to internalize everything that you're going through. And one of the things that I have the hardest time with is asking for help and saying, hey, like I'm struggling here. But there's so much power in that. Satan wants you to be alone. He wants you to be secluded. He wants you to be by yourself. And that's where sin is most powerful. So it is our responsibility as friends of one another to pull people in. Is there a moment in y'all's life through fatherhood where you have been like, oh, we've settled into a good rhythm of like, I'm going out and I feel fulfilled at work and I feel fulfilled outside the home, but I also am doing a good job of being super present in the home and being with my family and being with my wife and my kids and being intentional there. Are there rhythms that you guys have settled into now or that you would like to even settle into?
It's going to sound so basic, but just the act of sharing a meal together at the dinner table is probably the rhythm where I think that dissipates the most for me. Open conversations about anything. What do you like? Ours are not deeper conversations like these two might have, but they are meaningful to me because I'm not around as much as Courtney is. I get to hear their day, what they liked, what they didn't like. We'll talk about anything. And that tension just completely disappears.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other rhythms that you guys have settled into?
Yeah, this season of life right now that Judy and I are in, I don't want to go back, man. This is the best. You guys with young kids, you're drinking from a fire hose, and you'll rest someday, I promise you. But it's just not now. So my kids, I said it earlier, my kids and my grandkids are life's great blessings. But I really enjoy grandkids, because they can go home at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, just family time in general. If you've got, having a meal together. Several years ago, we implemented just something pretty basic. Just before school, at a certain time, we all sit down at the table and have devotions. Can look many different ways. You watch a video, or read a verse, or one of the really cool things we did was we'd give each kid an assignment and say, all right, tomorrow is your day. We want you to, pick out your favorite song, worship song, or whatever. It could be anything. But then talk about it, and we'd listen to it, and it was just really good to take that time to be together. But it was just a really good rhythm we got into. It falls off in the summer because there's no school,
right?
And kids sleep in or go to work and that kind of thing. But I think it's just a really good decision on our part to do that. But also just one of the things we really love to do is take vacations, as most people do. But the summertime is a great time to go to the beach or get out of the country and stuff like that. So we've tried to get into a really good rhythm of that as well to try to focus on family times.
Yeah, how are you seeing those ripple effects, Tim? I've got one thing in particular that I'm thinking of, but how are you seeing those ripple effects in your kids and how they're living their lives today because of the daily devotions and rhythms that you have placed in their life? I think about Chase, and he's doing something on Instagram right now.
Yeah, correct.
What is it called, Chase?
Lifted scriptures.
Where he's reading a verse almost every day.
Yeah, and then he does a specific workthink and kind of talks about it. Yeah, so
that feels like a direct correlation to what you have instilled in him.
Yeah, it does feel like that, and I think it's just created a good rhythm. Yeah, for the girls as well. They just keep a daily schedule, and maybe they find their own things. I think I remember a few times. Zuri lives downstairs in the basement, and I think just one night I went down there just to say goodnight, and she wasn't in bed yet. And this was maybe a year ago or so, but she was just sitting at her desk with the light on. I thought maybe she was doing makeup or something, or not makeup, nails or whatever.
Whatever girls do.
But she was, she had her Bible out. She was, marking things down and
that's cool.
Just spending that alone time. And I don't know that she necessarily told us she was doing that. She just kind of took it upon herself. And so it's, those moments I feel like have come out of that of, we can do this. So.
Yeah. As much as I quickly am able to wrap my head around leading outside of my home. For whatever reason, it is harder for me to wrap my head around leading inside my home. It is my responsibility to lead my family well, to lead devotions, to build our relationship closer to one another and closer to God. How do we do that well? So yes, we have a calling and ambition to go outside, but we also have a calling and an ambition inside our home. We are very quick to outsource the inside part. I don't have an answer there. We also do family meals. We try to be intentional about that. We've been pretty bad over the last month or so, but we also do a thing, we try to anyway, called Pizza Friday, where every Friday, I would love to have our boys and their friends or whoever, like, we're not going out on Fridays. Like, everyone can come to our house, and we're having pizza Fridays. We're having pizza every Friday. JR's allowed to have Sprite. It's crazy. It's crazy day on Friday. But those are some of the rhythms that we like to instill.
You know, one of the things I think my wife and I did well was, I can't remember what year this was, Jude, but maybe 2001 or so, we went to a meeting at our church to find out about small groups. And at that time, I had zero interest in being in a couples group. I wasn't there. And so we go to this meeting and we get paired up with people that are way older than us and a lot of problems. And that was our small group. It was supposed to be for 6 weeks and it lasted for like 7 years. You know, and we have gone through and started other couples groups over the years. But the one thing I look at is my 2 girls, and they knew every Monday night or Sunday night, whatever night we were doing that, they went upstairs, and now they've modeled that in their own lives. You know, they've started small groups, or they're a part of that community, and they're staying close to God, and they're raising their kids to know Christ, and that's huge. You know, so group up, people.
Yeah. One last question here. Looking back at like previous father, the previous dad of yourself, like some of us have a couple years, some of us have decades of fatherhood experience. Looking back, what is one thing that you wish that you knew?
I will say, Tim's kind of led into it, but picking different mentors, friends to go after and seek who have been through the same or going through the same struggles, or even struggles you might go through one day. Seeking them out for advice, for wisdom, but then ultimately seeking after the Father. You know, we sang about it earlier. I think it's Matthew 6:33. Seek the kingdom and the Father and live righteously, and you will be rewarded. You'll be given everything you needed. So find those people that you can lean on. There are probably a lot of them in this building. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, find the ones that, you know, have modeled their life after Jesus' life, and pick them to pick ideas from. But knowing that those answers are in Scripture, and that He's all you need.
Yeah, that's good. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just think just being aware that there is a struggle.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of simple, but yeah, hindsight's 20/20. You look back and you're like, oh yeah, there is a struggle there. So I guess I just wish I had realized that a lot earlier on, and then, you know, use tools, or, gotten into groups or something like that. Just being more aware that, what's going on there, because it does get really frustrating. You know, I mean, going back and forth between, ambition and then presence, and I don't know, I guess I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but just knowing that there is a struggle and it's okay that that's happening. It's probably a good thing.
Yeah, giving yourself grace in those moments.
Yeah, and giving your grace.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, grace is huge. There's a lot of situations in my life that I wish I could go back and get a do-over, but that do-over is happening now with grandkids, so that's a good thing. But you're going to screw up in life. You're going to make bad decisions. You're going to say the wrong thing. Just give yourself grace. There's a lot of people in the Bible that, David screwed up, Peter screwed up. Give yourself grace when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I think giving yourself grace, and all of these rhythms and activities that we do are included in the Sabbath. Are there particular activities that bring you closer to one another and closer to God? Like, those are what we want to help facilitate with our families. Men, it's your responsibility. Speaking to myself as well. It is our responsibility to lead our families well. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with that responsibility? You guys can stand with me. Can we give it up for these guys? They did a phenomenal job. You guys can. How are you practicing your Sabbath? Everyone, how are you balancing your ambition between presence? Are there things in your life that you need to sacrifice, to give up for the greater good? We've heard some stories today where people have given up something thinking it was it was hard, right? Thinking it was a sacrifice, but it ended up being one of the best things that they've done. We have our prayer team up here. If you guys are struggling at all with balancing ambition and presence, with practicing the Sabbath, with making a big decision, these people will be in front to pray for you, pray with you. We're all on your team. We all are rooting for you, and we all love you.